Every narcissist seems unstoppable at first. They radiate confidence, charm, and control. Their energy feels endless, like they could talk their way out of anything. But that energy isn't real power. It's borrowed fuel, stolen from the attention, emotions, and reactions of others. And when that supply runs out, when no one feeds their ego anymore, something quiet and terrifying begins to happen. They collapse. Unlike ordinary exhaustion, this isn't just physical or emotional fatigue. It's a total energetic shutdown. The narcissist's life force depends on external validation. When they're adored, feared, or envied, they feel alive. But when the spotlight fades, their power fades too. The silence that follows isn't peace for them, it's suffocation. At first, they'll try to deny it. You'll see them forcing smiles, posting pictures, pretending they're still in control. They'll talk louder, act happier, even brag about how great they're doing. But behind closed doors, the cracks start to show. The mask slips, and for the first time, their performance feels heavy, almost impossible to sustain. Narcissistic energy runs on attention. When they don't get it, panic starts to rise. They scroll through their phone, check old messages, or stalk people online, desperate for a reaction. Even anger from others is better than silence. Because in silence, they cease to exist in their own mind. They become invisible, irrelevant, powerless. That's when the breakdown begins. Not with an explosion, but with emptiness. Their once electric energy starts to flicker. They stop feeling excited by things that used to give them power. Conversations feel dull, interactions flat. The same charm that once mesmerized others now feels forced and robotic. Their entire persona starts to crumble from the inside out. They might withdraw, claiming they're taking time to themselves, but the truth is, they're lost. Without people to feed on emotionally, the narcissist becomes hollow. Their identity has always been shaped by how others see them, so without an audience, they don't know who they are. It's not rest they're experiencing, it's decay. The silence grows unbearable. Every minute alone feels like punishment. They start remembering old sources of validation, ex-partners, friends, co-workers, anyone who once gave them energy. You might suddenly get a message out of nowhere, not because they miss you, but because they miss the version of themselves that existed through you. This is where their false strength begins to collapse. You see, a narcissist's energy isn't built on self-awareness or emotional stability. It's built on illusion. Once that illusion breaks, their body and mind can't hold the pressure. Anxiety takes over. Sleep disappears. Their thoughts spiral, looping between blame and self-pity. When narcissist energy fails, they experience something like withdrawal. The loss of attention feels like a drug wearing off. They shake, overthink, and search for a new fix. They'll try to spark drama, pick fights, or play victim, anything to get energy flowing again. But the world's response is colder now, and that terrifies them. The more they try to control people, the less control they have. This is the irony of their collapse. Every trick that once worked, charm, guilt, anger, stops working. People see through it, and with every failed attempt to manipulate, they lose a piece of the identity they fought so hard to protect. Narcissists fear exposure, but what they fear even more is invisibility. When nobody reacts, when no one praises or argues, they start feeling irrelevant. It's a nightmare for them to be unseen, unheard, unimportant. That's when their mask begins to crack, not from truth, but from emptiness. Some turn inward, isolating themselves. They'll sleep all day, stare at walls, or scroll endlessly through social media. They're searching for proof that they still matter. But every photo, every post from others only reminds them how small they feel without control. It's like watching their empire crumble in slow motion. Others lash out, They'll accuse others of betrayal or disrespect. It's easier to blame than to reflect. The rage you see isn't confidence, it's desperation. They're trying to feel powerful again, but anger doesn't fill the emptiness. It just burns faster, leaving nothing but exhaustion behind. Eventually, the narcissist enters what psychologists call collapse. It's a silent implosion of ego. They may appear calm on the outside, but internally, it's chaos. Shame floods in. The lies they told themselves begin to unravel. They can't keep pretending anymore, not even to themselves. For perhaps the first time, they feel what they've always run from: powerlessness. It's unbearable. They can't manipulate it. They can't escape it. They can't dress it up as confidence. It's pure exposure, the mirror finally showing them the truth they spent years denying. When this happens, they often panic and try to rebuild their energy through anyone who will listen. They might reconnect with old flames or find new targets. At first, it seems like they've recovered. The charm returns. The smile comes back. But deep down, they know it's temporary. The illusion never feels as strong the second time. The reason their energy fails isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. Narcissists live disconnected from their authentic selves. Their energy isn't rooted in truth, but in manipulation. And when that manipulation stops working, their entire sense of being begins to disintegrate. They start feeling drained all the time. Even small conversations exhaust them. The sparkle in their eyes dims. It's not aging or stress, it's ego fatigue. Years of pretending to be superior have taken a toll. The persona they built now weighs them down like armor they can't remove. Their relationships suffer first. People notice the emptiness. The narcissist who once lit up every room now feels dark and cold. The charm turns into irritation, the humor into bitterness. It's like watching the lights go out one by one in a house that was once full of life. When narcissists lose their energy, they also lose their ability to fake empathy. They stop pretending to care because they simply can't. Every word feels heavy, every smile mechanical. The mask that once protected them now feels like a prison, suffocating, not empowering. Sometimes they spiral into depression, but even then, it's not genuine sadness about others, it's self-pity. They mourn the loss of their image, not the loss of people. They miss being admired, feared, or envied. What they truly grieve is their fading control over perception. They'll say things like, "No one understands me," or "people change," trying to sound deep. But these words are shields, ways to avoid accountability. Deep down, they know the problem isn't the world. It's the collapse of the false identity they created to survive. At this stage, some narcissists retreat completely. They'll ghost everyone, delete social media, or move cities. They call it starting over, but it's really escape. They hope new surroundings will bring back their energy, yet the truth follows them wherever they go, because the emptiness isn't external, it's internal. Others cling harder. They chase attention more aggressively, acting impulsively, making reckless decisions. They post dramatic updates, confess to half-truths, or flaunt exaggerated confidence. But behind every act is the same silent question: do I still matter? Their exhaustion becomes visible. You can see it in their eyes, that hollow, restless look. They're tired of pretending, but they can't stop. The performance is all they know. Without it, they'd have to face themselves. And that's the one confrontation they'll do anything to avoid. When their energy fails, even their body reacts. They may experience insomnia, anxiety, or sudden bursts of rage, followed by deep fatigue. The nervous system that once thrived on chaos now begins to collapse under the weight of constant stress and emptiness. What once made them magnetic now makes them unstable. People start distancing themselves, feeling drained just by being around them. The narcissist senses it and becomes paranoid. Everyone's against me, they whisper, unaware that it's their own energy pushing people away. Their breakdown is rarely dramatic. It's quiet. It's in the pauses, the blank stares, the forced laughter. It's in the way they avoid mirrors, the way their voice trembles when they say, "I'm fine." You can see the mask sliding off, not shattered, just slipping with exhaustion. In this silence, truth becomes loud. Every manipulation, every lie, every betrayal echoes in their mind. They start remembering the faces of those they hurt, but not with empathy, with fear. Fear of being forgotten, of being nothing without the illusion. When narcissists reach this stage, some break down completely. Tears, apologies, promises to change, but don't be fooled. Most of it is survival instinct. They're not seeking redemption, they're seeking fuel. They want the energy that only attention can give. Even if they regain some strength, it's never the same. The charm fades quicker. The lies sound weaker. People sense the instability behind their smiles. Their reputation slowly erodes, and no amount of pretending can rebuild it fully. The world sees the fatigue they once hid. They start realizing that control was never power. Manipulation doesn't equal mastery. For the first time, they glimpse the truth. Their power was never internal. It was always borrowed from the reactions of others. And now, that source is gone. The silence they once mocked becomes their teacher. Alone in that emptiness, they have two choices: confront themselves or keep pretending. Most choose the latter, but a rare few begin to see the truth. They realize their energy failed because it was never authentic. For those rare few, something remarkable happens. In their lowest moment, they glimpse real self-awareness. It's uncomfortable, even painful, but it's the first real thing they've felt in years. If they embrace it, they can begin to rebuild, not as narcissists, but as humans. But most don't. They return to the cycle: charm, drain, collapse, repeat. Each time, their energy fades faster, the illusion weaker. Their mask becomes a ghost of who they once pretended to be. They live haunted by their own performance, exhausted by the endless act. Eventually, people stop playing along. The audience leaves. The narcissist, once addicted to attention, now faces the silence they once feared. It's not just quiet, it's a mirror. Every echo reflects back what they've become. A shadow chasing its own applause. That's when the real breakdown begins. Not with tears or drama, but with surrender. They stop talking, stop pretending, and for a brief moment, they feel the weight of everything they denied. The silence they once hated becomes the only truth left. Some try to rebuild again, but without energy, their charm fails. The manipulation no longer lands. Their power feels like dust slipping through their hands. The exhaustion becomes chronic, both emotional and spiritual. They've reached the edge of their illusion. By now, the narcissist who once demanded attention can barely hold a conversation. They speak in circles, avoiding eye contact, repeating old stories that no longer impress anyone. It's as if they've become a parody of their former self, tired, hollow, forgotten. The silence consumes them. It's not just the absence of noise, it's the absence of identity. Without reactions, they don't know who they are. They've built an entire existence on other people's energy, and now the power source is gone. That's the cruel irony. The energy they once stole was never theirs to keep. They borrowed it, drained it, and wasted it. Now they face the debt. Emotional bankruptcy hits hard, leaving them restless, empty, and haunted by the truth they spent a lifetime avoiding. In this state, some narcissists vanish quietly. They stop reaching out, stop performing. Their silence isn't peace, it's paralysis. The person who once dominated every room now fades into the background, unnoticed and forgotten. Their mask finally disintegrates. For others, the collapse turns inward. They obsess over what went wrong, replaying old events in loops of guilt and denial. But even that rumination drains them further. The mind that once controlled others can no longer control itself. If you've ever witnessed this stage, it's haunting. You see the hollow stare, the forced laugh, the endless fatigue. The once fiery narcissist becomes quiet, almost ghost-like. Their energy, once magnetic, has burned itself out completely. This is the silent breakdown, the moment their illusion finally implodes. It's not dramatic, it's slow, heavy, and invisible to most. But inside, they know it's over. The act, the power, the manipulation, none of it works anymore. In this emptiness, there's a small, rare opportunity for change. If they choose humility over pride, awareness over denial, something new could begin. But most don't. They cling to the ashes of who they were, trying to reignite a flame that no longer burns. Meanwhile, those who escaped their control watch in quiet peace. They don't celebrate, they simply understand the collapse was inevitable. Because energy that comes from lies, fear, and control always burns out. Truth, on the other hand, never runs dry. The narcissist's downfall is a lesson about power. Real strength doesn't come from dominating others. It comes from understanding yourself. And that's something they never learned. They mistook energy for attention and control for love. Their silent breakdown is the universe's way of restoring balance. It strips them of illusions until nothing false remains. What's left is raw humanity, fragile, uncertain, and painfully real. Whether they face it or not determines what happens next. So when the narcissist's energy finally fails, don't see it as karma, see it as truth. Their silence is not peace, it's the sound of their illusion collapsing. Because power without authenticity always ends the same way, quietly and completely,